Good evening. I plead ignorance. I do not know the whole story. I do not know the depositions and the exhibits. I was not present at the hour of offense. I plead ignorance of motives, of whispered counsel, of what should have been done differently. I know nothing of them. But, you see, I know this. Resentment is bondage. The word is grace. The word is grace. And grace does not imprison. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. 2 Corinthians 3:17. If there is no liberty in your heart concerning this person, you are not in the Spirit concerning this person, and so the chain clinks whenever their name is spoken. Let us put it plainly. Resentment is not justice. It is a chain fastened in your own consciousness. You see his face, or her voice stirs the air of your mind, and immediately a tenant awakens who pays no rent and dictates your weather. They do not even have to be present. They live in your thought, rearrange your breath, steal your appetite, and then, at night, they sit on the edge of your bed and count their offenses while your sleep bargains with their shadow. That is not justice. That is a private jail you have outfitted at your own expense. No, do not defend the jail as a courthouse. It is a cell, and you are both guard and prisoner. Now hear the gospel word that dismantles it. When Lazarus came forth, still wound in grave clothes, the master did not engage the history of his death. He said, "Loose him and let him go," John 11:44. Make that your refrain. Loose him, let him go. This is not sentiment. This is not naivete. This is spiritual law. For as long as you hold another in the cords of your judgment, you are holding those same cords in your own hands, and they circle back like ropes upon your wrist. You may say, but the harm was real. I plead ignorance of the details, and yet I do not plead ignorance of sonship. There is a way to release without excusing, to free without approving, to be clear-eyed and yet unchained. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Matthew 6:12. That is not a plea to revise history. It is a command to release the ledger from your heart so that you do not live as a collector who must spend his days searching for the debtor. You see, a collector cannot forget. A collector must protect his claim. A collector becomes his claim. No, that is not your life. So we will not begin with the analysis of their wrongdoing. We will not begin with the case you have diligently prepared. Wouldn't you soon tire of a child who recites morning and evening the faults of his brother, insisting that the house remain a courtroom so he can feel secure? Wouldn't you call it a sin to demand that punishment continue so your grievance can draw breath? And yet, that is what resentment asks of your soul. Keep the gavel raised so I may exist. The word is grace. The word is grace. Grace is not a better gavel. Grace is the air outside the courthouse. Here is the promise laid as a foundation for what follows. The fastest end of resentment is not to win a clearer argument against the offender, nor to rehearse with greater eloquence the minutia of harm. The fastest end is the withdrawal of mental bondage, the quiet inner act by which you unfasten the hook in your own heart. You need not tell them. You need not inform the universe. In the secrecy of communion, yes, we will come to this. Your spirit says, loose him, loose them, let him go. And then you stand still long enough to feel the chain fall. This is not weakness. This is alignment with the kingdom, where the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. Resentment is tomorrow's fear dressed as yesterday's record, but we shall not let it pass. Not here, not in the presence of grace. Loose him, Loose him. Let him go. Now we must put our finger upon the contract under the chain. You see, resentment does not float by itself like a cloud. It is tied to a document in the mind, an agreement you never signed on paper but have enforced in thought. You owed me love, safety, fairness, gratitude, honesty, and you withheld. There it is, a ledger with columns, an invoice sent, overdue, accruing interest. And then, because the note was not paid, you hold the debtor in your thought, you rehearse their name, you calculate damages, and you determine to collect with feeling. No, that is slavery. That is not justice. That is a bond you have purchased with your own life. Listen to the apostle's word that tears up such ledgers. Owe no man anything but to love one another. Romans 13:8. Do you hear where the debt is? Not there, in their pocket, but here, in your heart. Your only debt is the outflow of love, not the collection of wages you imagine you would do. If you say, they owed me safety, you have made a human your refuge. If you say, they owed me recognition, you have appointed a mortal your judge and rewarder. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. James 1:17. My God shall supply all your need. Philippians 4:19. The word is grace. The word is grace. Grace is source. People are channels. Well, let us put it this way. In your kitchen, there is a faucet. If you bless the faucet as the source of water, you will come under bondage to that metal mouth. When it clogs or closes, you will rage against it, resent it, sue it in your mind for thirst. But the faucet was only a channel. The water came from a spring beyond your house. No, the faucet is not the spring. The person is not your source. When you mistake a channel for the source, attachment grows. When attachment grows, resentment waits at the edge of every interruption. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man, Psalm 118:8. Not because man is wicked, but because man is not God. Now, do not hear this as license for chaos or a sermon against boundaries. Boundaries are wisdom. Boundaries are locks on doors, clear no's, honest distances, contracts on paper if business requires it, and when need be, the courts of the land. Boundaries protect life. Resentment collects payment with thought. Boundaries say, this far and no further, and then go to sleep in peace. Resentment sits up all night, adding interest to a broken promise and calling it prudence. No, keep your boundaries. Lose your collection agency. Let your yes be yes and your no be no, and refuse the inner employment of bailiff and bill collector in your own head. You see, what resentment presupposes, you, my friend, are my supply. You are my safety. You are my affirmation. And if you do not pay, I must seize your reputation in my thinking, your future in my dread, your worth in my judgment. That is why it burns so long, because we are trying to collect from a channel what only the source can continue to give. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. When the shepherd is your sufficiency, you do not badger the sheep. So here is the diagnosis, and here already the medicine. See the contract. Read it aloud within. You owed me love, safety, fairness, gratitude, honesty. Then, with Kingdom ink, cross out the words, you owed me, and write, Father, thou art my source. Thy grace is sufficient for me. Do not announce it to them. Do not publish a notice in the square. Quietly, inwardly, daily, cancel the debt in your consciousness. If the Spirit shows you a boundary to set it and be done. But let the inner ledger be closed. Say it as a morning agreement and an evening benediction. No man owes me anything. No institution is my source. God alone is my sufficiency. And watch what happens to the roots of resentment when the soil of dependence dries. They wither. They cannot live where grace is trusted. Loose them, yes. We will come to the practice, but begin here with the cancellation of the hidden note and the return of your heart to the spring. The word is grace. The word is grace. Let that be laid like a cornerstone under your feet so that when you put your weight down, it holds. Grace is not a sentiment hovering in the air. Grace is gift, and included in the gift is fulfillment. You see, when heaven gives an assignment, heaven includes the means, strength, wisdom, timing, opportunity, so that the thing comes as a whole, not as a begging half. My grace is sufficient for thee. 2 Corinthians 12-9. Sufficient for what? For the life you are given to live. Sufficient for the love you are given to express. Sufficient for the bread of the day and the courage of the night. If a need appears, the provision is already included in the word grace, as surely as the tree is included in the seed. It does not come in fragments. It comes as fulfillment. Now the world has its logic, and we have breathed it so long that it feels like oxygen. The world says, secure it, demand it, extract it, build a case, press the claim, take alarm for tomorrow and make a debtor out of your neighbor so that your anxiety has a plan. No, that is the logic of the nations that seek after what they shall eat and what they shall drink and wherewithal they shall be clothed. We are not in that camp. We are being taught the inner way. Receive it from the Father within. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. James 1:17. Not from your partner, not from your employer, not from your congregation. From above, through, perhaps, these instruments, but never of them. People are channels. God is source. Wouldn't you consider it a sin? Yes, let us use that strong word. If your child came each morning and, falling on his knees, begged you for breakfast, as if you were reluctant to be his parent, wouldn't that reveal an ignorance of the household he lives in? So it is when we spend our devotional hours pleading with people for recognition, pleading with organizations for our safety, pleading with yesterday to change its verdict so that the day may breathe. No, know thy Father knoweth. Grace is already the table set. Our part is communion, not collection. This is why resentment is so wearying, so spirit thinning. It labors to force supply or recognition or reparation out of a human channel, and the soul grows lean doing a bailiff's work. You stand at the door of another's life, issuing summons after summons in imagination, and each knock is a blow against your own ribs. It is like a branch trying to draw sap from another branch. The bark scrapes, the leaves rustle, but the life is in the vine. I am the vine, ye are the branches. John 15:5. Draw from the vine, and the branch beside you is relieved of your grasp. Well, let us put it quietly and simply. When grace is accepted as sufficiency, the pressure on others dissolves. You do not come to them with a cup marked, "You owe me," and so you do not live terrified that they will tip it over. You come already filled from the spring, and if they are a channel for added joy, you bless the channel. If they are dry, you do not burn them with your thirst. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Matthew 6:33. Added unto you, not extracted from them. Try this as a daily posture, no, as a daily realization. Father, thy grace is my sufficiency. Thy grace is sufficient for me. I release man as my source. I bless the channels that appear, and I hold no man in debt. Sit with it until it is not a sentence, but a substance in you. Let it soak through your quarrels, your memories, your anticipations. And then notice what happens in the field of your heart. The roots of resentment begin to dry because the soil of demand is gone. You are not standing guard over a ledger anymore. You are standing under a fountain. This becomes the bridge to our practice of loosing. For once grace is your sufficiency, you are free to say and mean, loose him and let him go. You are no longer collecting, you are communing. And where communion abides, bondage cannot. Keep your boundaries. Yes, set your locks and write your contracts, but come to consciousness debt-free toward man and rich toward God. The word is grace. The word is grace. And in that word, offense loses its leverage. Tomorrow, its terror, and your neighbor, his status as debtor. Now, the heart can do the simple, liberating thing, loose them and live. You see, the mind whispers, if I loose him, if I let this go, it will happen again. I must keep the story warm so it keeps him warned. That is tomorrow speaking through yesterday's mouth. Hear the master's correction. Take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, neither for the body, what ye shall put on. Consider the ravens, consider the lilies. Luke 12:22, 24, 27. And again, for all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Luke 12:30, 32. There it is, the divide. The nations of the world seek, grasp, forecast, insure themselves with suspicion, but you take no thought. Tomorrow is not your concern. Tomorrow is God's concern. No, do not mistake anxious vigilance for wisdom. Vigilance of the flesh says, keep the grudge alive so it will serve as a fence. But that fence is built inside your chest, and you are the one who cannot walk freely in your own garden. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Matthew 6:34. Grace gives you discernment for today, guidance for this hour's boundary, light for the next faithful step. Obsession, on the other hand, is a counterfeit light. It burns all night, but reveals nothing new in the morning. Wouldn't you consider it a sin if your child spent the day guarding the pantry door, inventorying cans with a trembling pencil, lest there be no breakfast at dawn while your kitchen is stocked and your heart is already planning the meal? What would you say to that child? Put down the pencil. Eat your supper. Sleep. Your Father knows. Resentment carries a pencil like that. It posts a sentry over the future and calls it prudence. If I remind myself of what they did, I will not be caught unawares. But you are not remembering. You are rehearsing. And rehearsal writes roles. Keep the lines fresh, and the play will find its stage. No, we are not playwrights of dread. Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit unto his stature? Luke 12:25. Which of you, by polishing a grievance, can add 1 ounce of safety to tomorrow? Not one. But you can add a chain around today. And that is precisely the trade resentment offers. An imagined control of tomorrow for the certain loss of peace now. Let us put it this way. Kingdom logic is not carelessness. It is care placed rightly. We take care to listen. We take care to draw from the vine. We take care to set clean boundaries. Yes, the lock on the door, the no on the tongue, the contract on the table if need be, and then we refuse the idolatry of tomorrow thought. Tomorrow is an altar that does not belong in your house. Leave it in God's temple. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. Psalm 55-22. The word is grace. The word is grace. As provision comes by grace, so does protection. So does wisdom for a true boundary. Not by your torment, not by your forecasts, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Zechariah 4-6. You ask, but if I take no thought, will I be blind? No. No, you will see more clearly, because you will be looking where light lives. Anxiety fogs. Communion illumines. The watch that grace gives is simple. Eyes open to the present. Ear tuned to the inner word. Heart unhooked from the debtor's ledger. When the Spirit says, step aside, you step aside. When the Spirit says, speak, you speak. When the Spirit says, close that account, you close it on paper and leave it closed in thought. Discernment without obsession, this is the governance of the kingdom. So do not argue with tomorrow. Release it. Do not spar with your mind to defeat its fear. Take no thought. Move from the courtroom of reasons to the chapel of communion. Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God, and the peace of God shall keep your hearts and minds. Philippians 4-6-7. We are not going to think resentment away. Thinking built it. We are going to enter communion until the heat leaves, until the inner sentry puts down his spear, until the day is all that remains, and the day is enough. Fear not, little flock. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom today. Tomorrow will be God's tomorrow when you wake there. Loose them now, and let grace keep the night. Now let us speak of prayer. You see, when the heart is hot with grievance, it imagines that prayer is a lever to move another soul, a summons to heaven for payback dressed as righteousness. Change them, Lord. Make them see, compel them to return what they withheld. No, that is not prayer. That is litigation in religious clothing, and it keeps them central in your consciousness. Vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. Romans 12:19. Wouldn't you consider it a sin if your child came every night and begged you to punish his brother so he could sleep? Wouldn't you say, my son, come here and rest your head. You are safe in this house. Let me be the parent. So it is with God. The word is grace. The word is grace. Grace is not your gavel. Grace is your sufficiency. True prayer is not an argument. It is communion. Enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. Matthew 6-6. Shut the door on the case names, scenes, eloquent speeches for the prosecution. Close the file. Then, very simply, very honestly, offer the only prayer that belongs in the sanctuary. Open my eyes. Illumine me. Be a light within me. In thy light shall we see light. Psalm 36-9. Not give me a better strategy against him, but give me sight. Not give me words to win this quarrel, but give me light to dissolve it. Well, let us put it this way. Imagine your soul as a room at evening. Do not fill it with talk. Sit in the chair by the window. Say nothing for a while. Let the presence announce itself as stillness. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Breathe as a child who has come home from a day of noise. If words rise, let them be few and soft. Father, thy grace is my sufficiency. I release man as my source. Open my eyes, illumine me, be a light within me. Then listen, not for a sentence in the ear, but for the loosening of the heart. The kingdom does not arrive with observation. The kingdom of God is within you, Luke 17:21. How will you know you have entered communion? The body will tell you the truth. The jaw unfastens. The shoulders stop reporting to the War Office. The breath lengthens until it feels borrowed from the sea. The mind ceases to arrange exhibits. It stops needing to win, and the inner court, so long convened, is adjourned. No gavel, no clerk. It is as if a door inside swings open onto pasture. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. Psalm 23:2-3. You will notice, too, that the name you have been holding fades to a silhouette and then to air, not because you forced it out, but because light came in and there was no place for shadows to organize themselves. Do not fear that this stillness is weakness. No, this is the only strength that does not require an enemy. In communion, the source is remembered. And when the source is remembered, the channel loses its tyranny. The person before you, behind you, or long gone is no longer your lifeline and therefore no longer your debtor. In that remembrance, the hand that clutched the ledger loosens without effort. You do not resolve to forgive. You discover the need to collect has melted. Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you, 1 Peter 5-7. Care moves to its rightful place, and the soul is relieved of bailiff duties. Make it a simple practice. Several times a day, and especially when the heat climbs, retire inwardly. Shut the door. Say less, mean more. Open my eyes. Illumine me. Be a light within me. Sit long enough for the argument to tire and the presence to become obvious. If you must weep, weep. If you must be silent, be silent. Do not preach to God. Do not prosecute your neighbor. Let the Spirit warm the room until the stiffness leaves. When it does, you will find that the sentence rises of itself. Loose him. Loose them. Let them go. Not as a holy performance, but as the only thing that makes sense when grace fills the house. Then, if a boundary is to be set, set it in peace. If a phone call is to be made, make it without trembling. If no action is given, take no action. But do not go back to begging prayers for payback. That is to drag the court back into your living room. The fastest release is not a better argument. It is communion until the heat leaves, until God is central again, until channels are blessed without being enthroned, until your heart, debt-free toward man and rich toward God, can say with quiet certainty, thy grace is sufficient for me. And then, gently, you will know what to do next or what not to do at all. Now let us make it plain as practice. Take the imperative we have heard and bring it into your day as breath and cadence, not as a slogan. Slowly, gently, as if washing the edge of your own heart. Loose him. Let him go. Loose them. Let them go. This is not a trick of words. It is alignment with a kingdom law. Whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Matthew 18:18. You are not freeing a criminal to roam. You are freeing your own consciousness from the role of warden. If a boundary is required in the world, set it in the world, but in the sanctuary of thought, loose them and let grace govern. Agreement number 1. No man owes me anything. Say it as an agreement, not as bravado. Owe no man anything but to love one another. Romans 13:8. You see, this shreds the inner invoice. It does not cancel a contract on paper, nor does it erase wise consequences where they belong. It cancels the secret bookkeeping in your chest. Each morning, before the mind begins its collections route, agree. No man owes me anything. Father, thy grace is my sufficiency. If the memory of an unpaid promise knocks, do not open a counter. Nod to the close sign and return to the spring. Keep your worldly accounts clean. Yes, but refuse the spiritual employment of bill collector. Wouldn't you consider it a sin to hire your soul to dun its neighbors all day? No, tear up the position. The house is not a courthouse. Agreement number 2. No man can withhold my good. Remove them from the throne of your supply. No good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly. Psalm 84:11. He openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. Revelation 3:7. When you believe that someone sits at the gate of your joy, you will hate the gate and fear the God. But God is the gate, and God is the giver. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. James 1:17. Repeat it until the spell breaks. No man can withhold my good. Bless the channel when it runs. Bless the quiet when it does not. Look past the faucet to the river. Then, should a human close a door, you will not bruise your hands against it. You will turn to the one who opens, and you will be led to the door that is yours. Agreement number 3. I will not hold anyone in bondage, not even in my mind. This is where the replay ends. This is where the prosecution rests and the sentence is vacated. Judge not, that ye be not judged. Matthew 7:1. Love is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil. 1 Corinthians 13:5. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free. Galatians 5:1. Each time the scene starts, each time the tongue of thought warms to tell it again, lay down the gavel, breathe once, and say, softly now, loose him, loose them, let them go. Then turn your face to the presence, open my eyes, illumine me, be a light within me. 5 seconds of obedience here will save 5 hours of inner litigation. You see how these agreements fit the life we are learning. They are daily, not dramatic. They deepen by measure, not by one parade of tears. Morning, no man owes me anything. Noon, no man can withhold my good. Evening, I will not hold anyone in bondage, not even in my mind. And in between, the little chant, like a bell, that keeps the monastery honest. Loose him, let him go. Loose them, let them go. If you fail at 10, begin again at 10:01. His mercies are new every morning. Lamentations 3:22-23. The word is grace. The word is grace. As you agree with grace, the root system of resentment starves, and your boundaries kept clean in the world are kept peaceful within. Make it simple. Put these 3 agreements where the hand can find them, in memory, in breath, in the pause between one word and the next. You do not need an audience. You do not need a ceremony. You need only the willingness to let God be God, man be channel, and your own heart be free of debt, free of gatekeepers, free of prisons made of replay. Loose him, loose them, let them go, and walk out into the day as one who has nothing to collect and everything to receive. Thy grace is sufficient for me. Now a hand goes up inside and says, but if I loose him, am I saying it was fine? No. No releasing is not excusing. It is refusing to carry their act as your identity. It is not a varnish over evil. It is the end of letting it write your name. You may still say no. You may still leave. You may still report. You may still protect the vulnerable and close the door at night. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Forgiveness is not the removal of locks. It is the removal of hate from the hands that turn the key. Hear the word that cuts to the kernel. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Luke 23:34. They know not. You see, ignorance acts boldly. Ignorance wears confidence like armor, but it does not know its own cost. And so we add, as the Spirit makes it plain. They know not what they do to themselves. Sow and reap is not a threat, but a law. Galatians 6-7. To strike at another from ignorance is to thicken one's own night. We do not gloat at this. We grieve and release. We will not take ignorance into our bosom and call it wisdom by rehearsing the blow. We will not keep the firebrand in our pocket to singe our own peace. Wouldn't you consider it a sin, as a parent, if your child insisted on carrying a coal from the hearth each day to remember not to burn himself again? You would say, my child, put it down. The lesson is real, but the coal is not your talisman, your home is. So it is with us. Put down the coal of the story. Remember the lesson. Keep the boundary, but do not blister your hand with daily handling. The word is grace. The word is grace. In grace, memory becomes wisdom without becoming a wound. Now, moral realism stands. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Matthew 10:16. Wisdom sets boundaries. Harmlessness keeps the heart from malice. The magistrate exists. The contract stands. The law may be invoked, for he is the minister of God to thee for good. Romans 13-4. Use the instruments of order as needed, and then retire the inner judge. We do not abolish earthly means. We abolish inner bondage. We do not hire our soul as a warden of resentment while the locks and courts do their clean work. Shift the lens. Then, from punishment to spiritual fact, ignorance cannot touch divine sonship. It can bruise a reputation, it can disturb a plan, it can stain a garment, but the life is hid deeper. Your life is hid with Christ in God, Colossians 3-3. Who shall lay anything to the charge of God's elect? Romans 8:33. Throw mud at the sun, and what have you truly touched? The light remains, and the mud returns to the hand that cast it. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Isaiah 54-17. Prosper. That is the word. Weapons may clang. They do not fulfill their intention against the one who abides in grace. So the practice becomes very simple. In communion, when the name rises and the scene begins to play, do not commentate. Do not perfect the prosecution. Say quietly, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. I will not let this deed define me. I withdraw my bill. I release my need that they understand, apologize, or suffer. I return them to thee, and I return my heart to thy grace. Then be still until the heat leaves. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Isaiah 30-15. Release is not a speech. It is a temperature dropping when the fire runs out of fuel. And when it has dropped, act or do not act as light directs. If distance is needed, take it without ceremony. If a report is right, file it without venom. If silence is holy, keep it without sulking. But do not ask ignorance to make you whole by its punishment. That is to enthrone it again. Wholeness is from the source, not from the fall of another. I and my Father are one. John 10:30. That is the name you carry. That is the identity resentment cannot rewrite. So, softly now, loose him. Loose them. Let them go. Not because it was fine, but because you are not a prison. Not because justice is abandoned, but because judgment is God's and your life is in God. The word is grace. The word is grace. Forgiveness is seeing harm as ignorance that cannot touch the Christ identity in you. And as you see that, the chain falls not off his ankle first, but off your own. Now comes the turning. And it is simple to say, though it takes a life to live. Resentment requires a little eye to keep watch, to arm itself, to prosecute and defend its small kingdom. Grace reveals another eye, deeper than biography, free of the courtroom, an eye that is one with God. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. Galatians 2:20. Hear it quietly, not I, not the old self that keeps ledgers and speeches and schedules of revenge. The word is grace. The word is grace. The I that abides in grace is not a defendant to be cleared, nor a prosecutor to be satisfied. It is a branch resting in its vine. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, no more can ye, except ye abide in me. John 15:4. You see, as long as the little I is central, every look becomes threat or proof, every silence accusation, every memory a tool. No, that is not who you are. Take the word I out of the dictionary, except when I refers to the presence that is God in you. When you must say I, let it be this I. I and my Father are one, John 10:30. Let it be this. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works, John 14:10. Then watch what happens to the furniture of the inner court. The bench dissolves, the jury goes home, the gavel has no hand to wield it. Why? Because an instrument does not sit in judgment. An instrument allows the musician to play. Instrument, that is the word. You are not the judge, jury, and executioner. You are a vessel through which grace flows. A vessel unto honor, sanctified, and meet for the master's use. 2 Timothy 2:21. The master's use, not your grievances. When grace uses you, it may use you to speak firmly or to be silent, to stay or to go, to correct or to overlook. But it will not use you to collect debts of the soul. It will not use you to punish so that you can feel like a person again. You already are, only not the person you thought. In him we live and move and have our being, Acts 17:28. Being, not bargaining. Let us put it this way. As instrument, your posture changes in every direction. You can love without attachment because the love is not yours to hoard or fear losing. It passes through like sun through a clean window. You can help without bondage because you are not the source. You are a channel, and channels do not invoice the river. You can refuse without hatred because boundary is simply guidance from within, not a theater of dominance. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, Matthew 5:37. Yea, when grace says yes. Nay, when grace says no. No trembling, no performance, no inner trial. A woman sat in my room some years ago, let us call her Mary, and she told me she could not forgive her sister for diverting an inheritance, nor her employer for overlooking her gifts. She had 2 ledgers, beautifully kept, and her health was failing by the numbers. We said nothing clever. We only turned the lamp toward identity. Mary, take the word I out of your dictionary, except when it names God. Sit each dawn and say, Father, be the I in me. Thy grace is my sufficiency. I am not a collector. I am an instrument. For 30 days she did this. With the little agreements we have learned, no man owes me anything. No man can withhold my good. I will not hold anyone in bondage. On the 31st day she arrived, with no story to tell, not because the estate had changed, nor the employer called, but because the I that needed payback had gone missing. She had become simple. She had become useful. And in that simplicity, other channels opened in their season. He openeth, and no man shutteth. Revelation 3-7. Do not think this identity makes you vague. No, it makes you exact. You will find your speech shorter and cleaner. You will find your feet quicker to obey the quiet nudge. You will discover the strange ease of blessing, a door you do not enter, and a person you do not keep. The world may call this indifference. It is not. It is devotion to source above channel. It is the disappearance of the frightened actor and the appearance of the instrument at peace in the musician's hands. Practice it in small ways so it will be ready in great ones. When the old name rises, do not answer as the old I. Answer from the inner room. Father, be the I here. I do not judge. I consent to grace. Then if a call must be made, make it. If a distance must be kept, keep it. If a kindness is to be given, give it and go. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46-10. That I, not the I that was injured. This is the end of resentment at the root. Identity exchanged, gavel set down, channel made free. And now, with this new I, we can turn to our contacts and distances, our family ties and recurring triggers, and relate without chains only as instruments of grace, steady and unafraid. The word is grace. Now we come to the street level of this life, where letters arrive, voices call, and doors open and close. You see, the principle is simple, though it must be practiced until it is your second breath. People are channels. God is source. The word is grace. The word is grace. When grace is your sufficiency, the mailman is not your supply, though he brings the check. The physician is not your life, though he steadies your body. The friend is not your comfort, though her visit warms the room. Receive the channel. Do not clutch the avenue. Bless the hand. Trust the giver. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. James 1:17. Above does not mean far away. It means prior. Before any human face appeared, the good was already decided in God. Let us make this concrete. Suppose a former partner writes, Your mind runs ahead to build a fence of words or a bridge of compulsion. Stop. Do not decide who or what must heal this. Leave the means to God. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Proverbs 3-5. Enter the inner room for a minute and test the contact by its atmosphere. Contact with peace carries no pressure to secure, to convert, or to collect. It comes with a quiet yes, a simple sentence, a clean boundary if one is needed. Contact with compulsion trembles. It fumes with must. It rehearses before the mirror. It bargains for outcomes. No, do not make that call under compulsion. You will spend your peace to purchase a shadow. Likewise with distance. Distance with clarity is boundary set in light. A firm no, a changed schedule, a lock on the door, a line in writing done without malice and then left alone. Let your communication be yea, nay, Matthew 5:37. Distance with hatred is a theater in your head. The mouth closes, but the courtroom stays open, and the gavel still pounds. No, we will not move away on the outside while chaining ourselves inside. If there must be distance, let it be established in prayer, then let it be quiet. Here is a little grid for your pocket, felt, not forced. Before contact, ask, is there warmth without rush? Is there clarity without edge? Is there an inner space unhooked from outcomes? If yes, proceed in peace. If not, return to communion until the compulsion dissolves or the no becomes effortless. Before distance, ask, is this boundary a guidance or a grievance? Does it leave the other in God's care, or does it keep them in my mental cell? If guidance, set it. If grievance, loose them first. Then see if a boundary still remains. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Romans 12:18. As much as lieth in you, sometimes much, sometimes little. Grace will tell you how much today. And about the triggers, the reruns, the sudden heat when an old name appears on the screen of the mind, do not wrestle, do not narrate, do not calculate the perfect response while your soul heats the stove. Immediately, quietly, return to the 3 agreements, like a hand to a well-worn railing. No man owes me anything. No man can withhold my good. I will not hold anyone in bondage. Then, almost under your breath, the simple imperative, loose him, loose them, let him go. 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Stay until the shoulders drop. In returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Isaiah 30-15. Do not decide which channel must be used. Do not name the rescuer. Do not script the apology. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Matthew 6:33. Added by what route? Do not decide. The river will find its banks. A new door will open that you could not have coerced. An old door will stay shut without bitterness. You will make the call you are given to make, not the one your fear demands. You will hold the meeting that bears fruit, and you will bless the meeting you do not hold. What changes as you live this way? The inner weather calms. There is less argument and more guidance, fewer stage rehearsals and more simple acts rightly timed. You become accessible without being available to bondage, strong without force, tender without being taken hostage by any face. You will notice that you can sit across from the very one who once drew your ledger and feel no hook because the ledger is gone, and you are meeting a channel, not your source. Or you will notice that you can decline the coffee, not from frost, but from light, and walk away without gathering a storm behind your eyes. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, Isaiah 26:3. Stayed, not snagged. So we go out now to live among doors and faces as instruments of grace. We accept channels when they come. We set boundaries when they are given. We refuse chains, both theirs on us and ours on them. We do not decide who or what. We abide in who. The word is grace. The word is grace. And as we abide, natural right action becomes the simplest thing in the world. Yes when it is yes, no when it is no, and silence when heaven is speaking more loudly than we can. Loose him, loose them, let them go. Then let the day unfold. And so, as we come to the close, let us tell the truth without embroidery. The world may not suddenly grow wise because you have entered grace. Misunderstandings will still walk across your threshold uninvited. Betrayals may still try their lines. Disappointments will sometimes arrive in the morning post. You see, human arrangements swing like a door on weathered hinges. We are not saved from weather, we are saved from worshiping it. The word is grace. The word is grace. No grace does not fail. It fulfills, and it fulfills first as inner freedom, as a calm that will not hire itself out to grievance, as a light within that knows what to do next and what to let alone. Remember our kingdom logic? Take therefore no thought for the morrow, Matthew 6:34. Tomorrow is not your desk, it is God's. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it, Psalm 127:1. We do not abandon prudent steps. We abandon the bondage that confuses a step with salvation. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. John 14:27. Not as the world giveth by bargaining, by collecting from persons, by tightening the fist. The kingdom gives by grace, and grace is sufficiency. You see, when you stand in that peace, the same phone may ring, the same email may arrive, and yet you are no longer for sale to it. You remain an instrument, not a debtor, a channel, not a chain. Let us put it simply and practice it nightly. When the day draws its curtains, enter into thy closet and shut the door. Matthew 6:6. Sit quietly, breathe once or twice, until the inner noise admits it is tired. Then review the day with God, not with the prosecutor. Let each face rise as a leaf in a stream. For each one, say gently, no man owes me anything. No man can withhold my good. I will not hold anyone in bondage, not even in my mind. Then, by name, if name appears, I loose you. I let you go. I cancel the debt I imagined. Father, I return this to thee, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you, 1 Peter 5-7. If a fear about tomorrow stands at the foot of the bed, do not negotiate with it. Hand it in, Father, this belongs to thee. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Psalm 37-5. If a memory stings, do not edit. Simply add the balm. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Then wait a minute longer until the shoulders lower and the breath becomes simple. Whisper, if you like, as a child, asking no thing but presence. Open my eyes. Illumine me. Be a light within me, close with the trust of one who is housed. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. Psalm 4-8. Do this with no drama. Every night, as a housekeeper tends a home, it is not an exam, it is a clearing. Some evenings there will be many names, some none at all. Some nights there will be tears, others only a small nod and the soft closing of a book. But always let the seal be this, slow and tender, as if smoothing the waters of your own heart. Loose him, let him go. Do not hold him in bondage, not even in your mind. Loose them, let them go. Do not hold them in bondage, not even in your mind. The boundary you must keep tomorrow will be cleaner for it. The call you must make will be shorter and kinder. The door you must not open will stay shut without noise. And now we rest in a simple expectancy. Tomorrow is God's. Supply is God's. Justice is God's. Give us this day our daily bread. Matthew 6:11. This day, not a warehouse for fear. This day, not a ledger for old accounts. Your work is release. Your posture is trust. Your identity is instrument. The word is grace. The word is grace. Go to sleep as one who has nothing to collect and everything to receive. In the morning, the world may be the same. You will not be. For inner bondage is optional, and as you loose them, grace becomes your life. Loose them. Loose them. Let them go, and let God be God.